Right. Okay. So a couple of questions that the team online had on the InstMind page for you. So, firstly, we've got okay. What are the intricacies with copyrights when it comes to music?
Gosh, you should ask my lawyer, not me. But essentially, if you're talking about like royalties and how you get paid from music, there's kind of two main ways. That's publishing. So,
Right.
what the chords and the lyrics and what's written, that generates a royalty when a song is bought or played. And there's the recording. That's a separate thing. Like the actual MP3, it itself will generate royalties as well. So if you covered someone else's song, then you could get a royalty for the recording, but not for the publishing because you didn't write it. And obviously, if you wrote your own and performed it, you'll get both.
Okay. What happens if, see if your label, if eventually you have a 10-year contract with your label and then you get your music back from the label, does it just mean that essentially however much the cut they were taking all goes to you now?
Yeah, I imagine so. Unless the only thing is a lot of the time, you're trying to give back the money that you borrowed from the label. So there might be something if you're unrecouped in that situation, you might need to finish paying them back before you get yours. But I mean, if it's been 10 years or something, you might be recouped anyway, in which case, yes, you would just get their share as well, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. And how much this isn't even a question, but is there different deals for different artists in terms of how much they get paid from the label?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So is there say someone's a really young prospect and they think that, listen, they're going to be the next Justin Bieber, would they be like, right, we've got a couple of million we're going to give them? Or does it go that far?
Yeah, it definitely, it's the Wild West right now in the industry with TikTok and social media. So now there are kids that not kids, whatever. There's anyone who can have their song blow up on TikTok, which means they're getting a lot of streams and they own 100% at that point of the song because they just put it out independent. And then labels will flock around them to try and buy some of the percentage of that, income. So yeah, I've heard, I mean, these are rumors, but I've heard definitely multi-million-dollar deals for half of the royalty of one song that is going bananas.
Wow.
And that was not happening 10 years ago. So in that respect, I hope that motivates independent artists that can happen to anyone nowadays.
Wow. Okay, so next up we have, what advice would you give to young musicians?
I'm gonna say if it's like an artist, someone who wants to be an artist, write songs. That would probably be actually my number one tip: is start writing songs and don't be too precious about the first songs you write, because you'll write 5 and you'll think you've got an album there because you need whatever, 5 for an EP. But your 50th song, I guarantee you, is going to be better than any of those 5. You've just got to write 300 songs really quick. And I found that when I started, that suddenly, after a certain period of time, every song I wrote, the label liked, and before they didn't. So it clearly was just like a level up. The other thing I'd say in today's world is if you want to be an artist, you have to be online. It's almost impossible not to be posting your stuff. And you can post what you want. You can post covers, you can post originals, you can post content, but just be mindful of the fact that if stuff starts taking off and it's not truly who you are and people expect that from you instead, it's going to be really difficult to then convince them to love the thing that you actually trying to promote.
Do you think you almost we have this in the photography and YouTube space, and I wonder if it's the same as the music industry, you kind of build your own prison because of the niche you go into?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I'm mentioning. Exactly that.
Yeah. So is that why people have, I'm guessing, different aliases?
What do you mean?
So people have different aliases. So Eric Prydz has Cerez. This is a DJ, but Eric Prydz, the DJ, has Cerez D as an alias. It's still him, but he releases a different type of music.
Yeah, I think that would also probably be not to confuse the algorithm of his project, because the reason we also go for niches is then the algorithm better understands who you're trying to, who you want to hear your music, who would like your music. And then if you suddenly throw something that's completely not relevant to that in there, it's going to mess up with that. So I imagine that's why people have, I have a piano project that has like no streams, but it's just me playing piano pieces I wrote. And I'm not releasing that because there's no vocal on it. It's nothing like the stuff I usually release. I just made a different thing and I want it to be separate.
Okay. Do you still release on YouTube?
I still do. Yeah, I've not put a good amount of effort in. But like obviously if a song comes out, something will go out with the song. Whether it's rarely a music video, it might be a lyric video or just the audio sort of thing, which I know won't perform as well. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't do covers anymore, if that's what you mean.
Because would you get the royalties to like see if you were to put out a single that you were having on YouTube, you would get the AdWords for that. Like, you would get the ads.
Yeah.
For that.
Yes. It gets collected by the people I distribute through, and there are different models with that where, you know, a company could take a percentage. The one I go through doesn't. You just pay a subscription so they can send it to the right people, but they'll collect the royalties, and YouTube will be included in that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. What has been your darkest moment?
I'm presuming this is in my career, and I'd probably say when I let the numbers get to me too much. I think certainly, you know, supporting Sean for like 2 years, and he was like, one of my best friends, during that time, and I still consider him a brilliant friend. But seeing the trajectory of just another career, like it's not even personal, to doing just that and thinking that, well, that's just how it goes because I'm on the same whatever. I really let that get to me to the point where it made me really upset that, I just couldn't follow the same path or something like that. So at that point, I really made a big effort to change the way I thought about my career versus anyone else's. It's independent of anyone else's. It's going to have its own waves. But until I figured out that I needed to change the way I thought about that, I was really struggling with the idea of my career. Yeah.
If you guys enjoyed that clip, please do me a huge favor before you go and head over to our Into the Mind podcast official page where we have the raw, uncut Into the Mind podcast, and hit that subscribe button. And the more subscribers we get, the more incredible guests we can get on the show. I really appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you so much. And I'll see you all real soon.